I'm not sure anybody has had this discussion before. Are you going to try and digest some aspects of it today and probably continue it another time? The impact of gospel awards on or in the gospel industry. When you go to the US, they have the Stellars, they have the Doves. When you go to South Africa, they have SABC Crown Awards. When you go to Kenya, they have their own gospel awards. And fortunately, we have a lot in Ghana now. We have the National Gospel Music Awards, we have Kingdom Harness, we have Africa Gospel Awards Festival, we have Shine Awards, we have a lot of gospel awards now in the system. And today, we're going to discuss the impact of these awards. Are these awards really, really necessary? Do they take us off our kingdom mandate, our ministry mandate to win souls? That's what we're going to discuss here on the CER show. Ahead of time, you can just send your WhatsApp to 050-143-2820. In the next 5 minutes, the last 5 minutes of the show, I'm going to open the phone line so you call and you give us your thoughts about this topic. And today in the studio, I have one man. He's been in the show several years. It's a man I respect so much. And he always fights with me, but for a good person anyway. He's a business manager for Nasi, and he's a radio presenter. He's a presenter of This Is Gospel on Hits FM, and the spokesperson for African Gospel Awards Festival. He's called Frankie 5. Frankie 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Frankie, you're welcome to the show again.
Thank you, my brother.
I like your black.
Yeah, thanks. I love black.
You love black?
Yes,
okay,
I love black.
So that's Frankie 5. Frankie 5 is a spokesperson for African Gospel Music Awards Festival. Today he's going to represent that, yes. Because he does a lot of things in the industry, so you have to identify him more. He's the operations manager for Xylophone Asphalt too. He's a big man. Next to Frankie 5 is this guy too. He's very loud of him. People won't beat themselves. Last week said you wanted to beat him. But this week they are now friends. He's a blogger. He belongs to Kingdom, the Kingdom GH, right?
Base G.
Kingdom Base GH. And he's a producer for sorry, Jamio. Obidate Show of Vision 1 FM. And he's also the chief organizer for Kingdom Harness. Precious. Boss, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
First time on the show.
Yeah.
If you call, we'll call you again.
That's great.
And I will not give you, we'll give you short notices. Friday, Saturday. But you don't talk. You have to come in this. And finally, I put him at last because I've been tormenting his life forever. And today you torment my pretenders to say, don't mess me up. I'll mess you up before you mess me up. All the way from Kumasi. People call it Kumasi Base Awards, but I refuse to call it that. That's not Base Awards. He's my friend. He's my friend. And this is the first time we've met face to face. We've always been talking on phone and WhatsApp, social media and all. Peter Kwabena Seju is the chief CEO for Royal Akomfona, organizers for the National Gospel Music Awards. Seju, you're welcome.
Thank you, my brother.
You're welcome to the show. You're the only one.
Thank you.
Guys, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to make you define your awards in like 2 minutes. You know, what your awards represent individually. Then we can continue. So, Frankie, you've not done like the first event of the African Gospel Awards Festival have not been held. So, what does it represent, the African Gospel Awards Festival?
Well, Africa Gospel Awards Festival, it's like the name goes, is supposed to reward the hard work of the men who are on the field doing the work for God. If I say men who are on the field, it categorizes musicians, pastors, and gospel practitioners. You can talk of philanthropists, you can talk of event organizers, everybody that's working in the vineyard of the Lord that we feel should be recognized. The award targets such a person on the African continent, and then we meet at one place at a time to, reward these sect of people. So basically, that's it.
That's it. Okay, so your award, does it look at only the music sector? or throughout the gospel?
So like I said, it's a spectrum. So we have music, we have ministers of the gospel who are like pulpit preachers properly, and we have, you know, those who look after gospel business. Some of them are philanthropists, some of them are event people. You know, it takes a holistic look at, you know, gospel in general. That's why it's not a gospel awards festival. It's Africa Gospel Awards. It's not Africa Gospel Music.
So
it's a spectrum. Exactly, it's a spectrum of events. Yeah.
Okay, so you have categories for pastors.
For pastors, for musicians, for philanthropists, for business people doing gospel.
Okay, perfect. That's quite broad.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll come back to Africa Gospel Music Awards. So, Precious,
Yes, sir.
Kingdom Harness,
Yes, sir.
what does it represent?
Okay, so Kingdom Honors is actually an award scheme that seeks to appreciate or honor up and coming gospel ministers. This is so because we actually came to a realization that most up and coming guys go through a lot before they get up there. Some don't even get up there and they go off their point. So what we thought as a company, Kingdom BGH, is that let's let them feel loved. Let's let them feel that what they are doing is seen and is appreciated by masses. So we started this year, Kingdom Honors 18 this year in March, and we are actually preparing for Kingdom Honors 19. In Kingdom Honors, we have a category that's Mentor of the Year. We actually have that category for gurus in the industry who are actually bringing up young guys who are mentoring them, do this, do that. Exactly. So it's actually a whole package for up and coming gospel ministers. That's basically.
How do you define up and coming?
Okay, so we would say an up and coming gospel art is one who isn't yet there. I'm sure you understand when I say one
because
isn't yet there.
it's very, very objective. Somebody can say, I'm not up and coming, but you've nominated me. So I want to know the real definition.
So for the nominations, we actually have forms that you pick. So you know yourself, and you know you're an up and coming.
So if I, for instance, for lack of a better example, if I nominate Academy Report, then that means you categorize the up and coming.
It's fine.
Oh,
Exactly.
okay, perfect. I get it. And finally, I have Peter Senyu, National Gospel Music Awards. Please, what does this stand for?
Thank you. The National Gospel Music Awards is basically a gospel awards that seeks to recognize the hard work of gospel musicians across Ghana, and that's why we tagged it as the National Gospel Music Awards. So the 10 regions of Ghana, whether you are up and coming, whether you recorded yesterday, whether your songs are being played for 5 years or 10 years or even 2 days, we recognize you. So it's basically a huge scheme that covers the 10 regions of Ghana. Makes everybody feel important.
Okay, perfect. So now you know, the 3 gentlemen have their awards are quite different according to concepts. So I'm going to ask them one generic question. Do you face challenges, Funky? I'm sure you just call for nominations, and nominations are over, and you are now putting together to bring out the nominees list.
Yeah.
Yes. So far, have you faced some challenges?
Well, because we've not even scratched, so I cannot enumerate any challenges yet.
But how many people filed?
Right. As I sit here, I cannot give the exact number, but we've had quite a number across the country, and it's overwhelming to see new names. Honestly, I was thinking through to see if I could see the list full of all the names that we already know.
Yeah,
but surprisingly, we have new names, especially coming from the urban, those who call themselves the urban gospel people. A lot of them.
But a lot of people came for the official.
Yeah. It was a mix. Yeah, I've seen quite a number of them who have filed. Some also didn't. I'm sure they just want to see how the first events will pan out, and then they will join the train. It happens. It's normal.
Yeah,
but I've seen new names. So for me, it's exciting to see that even some new names that we've not even heard of, and they are doing great stuff.
So
they filed nomination.
Yes,
they filed some nomination for various categories. the event is coming up this December, so let's see how it goes.
Okay, so you don't have challenges so far.
Not yet.
Peter, I'll come to you, but he has done a wide scope. So have you had challenges so far? You've done it for 1 year.
We've done it for 1 year.
So do you have challenges?
Yes, the challenges, I mean, just like every other organization, you face challenges. You face challenges from industry players. You face challenges in terms of securing sponsorship for gospel events. You face lots of challenges, and so the challenges would come. It's up to the team to also deliberate on them and then come up with a master plan for them. But like I said, the challenges, even from the industry players itself, it's one huge one. That's
like what? Mention one.
You know, you have artist managers, okay, calling you to tell you that why is it that my artist was not nominated for this category, and they fail to recognize the fact that it's not done by an individual, but then it's carried out by a board.
So the artist manager calls you, think that probably the artist should be nominated in a specific category.
Yes, it happens, and you know, before going into the event in 2017, I've always had this notion that, you know, the gospel music industry was like one sweet one, and it got to a point where I told myself,
no, so the gospel industry is not sweet.
Relax. Allow me to voice it out.
Okay, go ahead.
It got to a time when I saw that no, people in the industry go through hell to record, go through hell to promote their songs, and then for an event organizer, if you're not careful, you are likely to be influenced, even within the setup that we categorize as gospel.
Influence as in people want to buy that one.
Of course, it's something it's a human institution.
So last year, did people approach you to?
People did, and in one of
people
my
artist
come on,
managers,
musicians. I wouldn't
No,
go
I'm
there.
just asking, artist managers or musicians?
Artist managers.
Artist managers.
And at some point, I even said it on a local radio station that the rate at which people are calling, I might be forced to, you know, name and shame, because I didn't expect it.
Did the person approach you with money or materials that like phone,
like I'm saying, there are lots of influences that go through.
So
there.
what did they approach you with?
There are lots of influence. There are lots of influence that.
No, we are saying it's serious, because the gospel industry, you should be you should go past that.
You see, I have somebody who carried out a gospel event, and that event is no more. One reverend, I did not. He has.
You go ahead there, you remember.
And he called me and said, "Son, our own people would bring you down."
Why?
Why? Because, you see, in every society we find ourselves, people want to be rewarded. Now, people don't want to be rewarded based on the work that they've done. They want to be rewarded because I know Ninoy, I know Frank, and I know my brother here, my Facebook brother, Precious. You understand? Yeah. So, if you don't tighten your belt, you get them influencing you, and at the end of the day, you would mess up the scheme.
No, Sergio, wait. So you mean that when you open nominations and you brought out the nominees list, people started fighting you at that point? That why is my artist not there? Then after that, when the winners list came out, or during the nomination time, from when the nominees list came out to when you announced the winner, people started coming to you to try to influence the system. I'm sorry, my iPhone is not here. Yes, I messed the phone up. I would have probably showed you some parts, colored some part, and then showed you how. Oh yes, because I wouldn't want you to see. No, so
I could make Frank and Precious see.
But
Frank is an event organizer. Precious is an event organizer.
I'm an event organizer too.
But I need for you.
But Frank too has a radio show. We can also say
no. Come on.
Precious is a producer of a radio show. You can't say
it doesn't matter.
Why are you blacklisting me?
It doesn't matter.
So how many?
I mean, you have a couple of them coming up.
A lot.
You have a couple of them coming up.
Accra or Kumasi artists?
I wouldn't generalize it as I wouldn't categorize them as. I would say they are Ghanaians. They are Ghanaian musicians, and
so
I mean,
you're not making a discussion. Should I go for a break then?
Nino. I mean, my point is well made.
Precious, do you face the same thing? Did you face the same thing last year?
Okay, I actually faced a single one.
A single one? Someone approached you?
Yes, please. It was actually a pastor of an artist. Like, he sings in his church, so he wants him to actually carry the award, and then he hides his church.
Wow.
Exactly. That's basically what happened. But it was definitely turned down.
Wow. But did the person win?
Yeah, like he won something.
But not that category?
He won some, yeah. No, he was actually nominated for one category, and he won that category, but it wasn't on that basis.
On that basis.
Exactly.
Wow. This is shocking. The WhatsApp line is 05014322820. Frankie, because you've not done your first edition, you don't understand this, but you manage a gospel artist, and you've been nominated for a lot of awards, including VGMAs. Yes. You're a business manager for Nasi. Do you do that?
Well, to God be the glory. No Tribe, when I started managing No Tribe, we've picked a couple of awards from the Ghana Music Awards. And it was all strictly on merit. Ghanaians saw it, and Ghanaians voted and went for it.
But during that period, do people walk to? Did you get information that people were trying to manipulate the system?
I can't sit here and say that I've seen or been a witness to something that has gone on like that. For my artists, they all got their awards on merit, and the last award I picked was for Nasi and then Ernesto Poku, and it was all over Ghana. So when they pick their awards, there's no ambiguity around it, because either the artist has proven to be, that artist that must be rewarded, or the song has proven to be a song that must be rewarded. So it's hard work, completely hard work.
But what do you say to what Sergio is saying? You are an industry person, an artist manager. Your artist will be nominated for some of these awards. So what do you say to this?
It's quite unfortunate, but let's not also gloss over the fact that if you be a men's and woman, honestly, don't let it look as though it's just gospel. It happens even in the secular world. It's everywhere.
For the secular world, but the gospel, we should be preaching Christ. Like, we should be seen as preachers. Good work. Good.
And that's why I said there's a Judas in every family. Okay, there are people who will try to beat the system. Even in the pastor's home, even in the mission house, people fight for rights. Like, they want to be the first, even in the mission house, and they'll do everything possible. Either by, let me cook dinner today. It's not your turn. Let me cook dinner just to get the eye of the pope, or the priest, or the pastor, and get some favors. It happens everywhere, even in the church house. It happens. So let's not make it look as though those who approach them are I don't know. But it happens. What I will say is that, listen, it's hard work. It's hard work. When you spend time and you do your work well, God rewards hard work. Yeah. The reward will come, and God will send people to give you that reward. Yeah. You don't need to beat the system. That's the only advice I can give. Just work hard and you'll be noticed.
So you are managing No Tribe and now Nasi. Yeah. You've picked lots of awards. How have these awards that you've picked influenced the brand of the artist?
Great. So starting from No Tribe. First of all, picking the awards opened great doors for No Tribe. One, because I'm the business manager, I talk money. So I got, corporate institutions giving me gigs. That is the first instance. Now I moved from the church because I was getting more gigs from the church. Now it moved to corporate institutions, the MTNs, the Vodafones, and the Nestle's, and we're playing gigs back to back. So a move from ministering to the church to ministering to the world, because we moved to play the gigs to these corporate institutions. Number two, it raised the price of the group. And I remember George Kwe called me one of the VGMA time. You know, we always play the VGMA. It's either we open the show or we are within the show. He called me one of those years and said, like, we performed the previous year, and the following year he wanted us to perform again. I told him, listen, we picked 2 hours the previous year. Gospel album, gospel artists, and 3 gospel album, gospel artists, and gospel song. So if you want me to come on the stage again, the pricing will change. And I quoted my new price, and he was like, Masa. I'm like, yeah, that's what the award has given to the brand. Because MTN has paid the same amount. I cannot come to this awards and pay and take less.
So if you read our words,
boss, Joe Metals' price has changed. Let me tell you.
When you want the artist of the
hitherto he wasn't taking such an amount. I can't quote it here, but now Joe Metals' price has changed drastically.
Yeah, it's changed drastically.
So it should tell you that the award plays on premium on the brand, because if you were doing it in a church now you've been showcased to the rest of the world. Your name is everywhere. You've become the talk of town. People are talking about your brand. People are talking about your song on every platform, and the world is watching. So definitely
go and look for your songs to listen.
Exactly. Definitely your price will change.
Yeah.
If you're working only in Ghana, now you have gigs in Africa. You are moving to Europe. You are moving. You can see the tours going around now. That is the good news that awards can bring to your brand.
Perfect. So, what do you say to Precious? What do you say to? I'll come to you on this question too. This question will go around. What do you say to? There are some artists that when you nominate them for some awards, they pull out. And you know, when I was the spokesperson for Shine Awards, and let me say for the first time, I'm no more with Shine Awards.
Oh,
yes, I'm no more with Shine Awards. So when I was the spokesperson for Shine Awards, we had some artists pulling out, saying that they will make them lose focus. They are thinking of ministry. Have you had any of those? What do you say to them?
Actually had one instance where a very revered up and coming artist, like, I wouldn't want to mention the name now. He was like, he had.
No, but so far as he's pulled out, he doesn't.
Oh no, but he was saying he has pulled out for that very year. That was for this year.
Okay, for that year.
Yes, exactly, because he heard that he was not ready and he had to do this. So I was like, he shouldn't put it out that he has pulled out. It's actually the first edition. Yes, it's the first edition. In case and he's someone people look up to. Even though he's an up-and-coming artist, a lot of people look up to him. So he should just keep it low, and we will try and do everything.
So he was not prepared. So he's looking for destiny.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he was.
Did anyone pull out when you brought it on Means List?
No one. But I had a funny incident on the eve of the awards. An artist from the Upper East region. Surprisingly, the manager sent me the link to the story somewhere around 5 a.m.
On the day of the event?
On the day of the event.
Okay.
5 a.m. And I read the story, and I think what they needed was a reaction from us to maybe make the artist popular or something. And I was like, no, I'm busy. I mean,
the story
I'm busy producing the show. Why should I?
The story about?
The story basically was they felt that the artworks that came out, the artist was not on, because we had
was not performing for the night.
She was not performing for the night. we had lots of artworks. I think 4 artworks, 4 separate artworks. And when the story came, I remember very well. I was with Bill Asamoah, and he did make a statement. Why don't you guys respond? I said, no, Bill. I mean, we are producing the show. It will be very unfortunate if I do this. Allow them. Now, the 3 weeks after the award, the same manager sent me another story of the girl performing in the show in Tamale or something. I was like, okay. So I didn't respond to the first one. I'm not responding to this. So stop it. And he still sends.
He still sends updates. Say you have a next edition.
It's so cool. It's so cool. But then if you pull out for a reasonable reason. You don't pull out because you feel you want to mock the scheme, or you feel you want to capitalize on that to make a name for your artist. I'll tell you something. In the secular world, a certain artist came, okay, and when he spoke, another artist who was in the system and was reigning then responded to him, and that was the end of the artist. He's not completely out of the system, but then he affected his brand so much because he spoke or he replied that comment, which was very unfortunate. So some of these things, yes, you have people pulling out day in, day out, but it strengthens us. I mean,
but do you think that it takes people off that mandate? You know, as a gospel artist, your mandate is to win souls for Christ. But do you think that, you know, it makes people forget about the awards and the eligibility, and they try to release songs to meet the eligibility and promote the songs? Do you think with these awards people lose that mandate? That shouldn't be the reason, and that also shouldn't make them lose focus on ministration, because you are ministering through singing. I believe before any of these artists thought of singing, the first thing that came into mind was that let's minister, let's win souls for Christ. And so in winning souls for Christ, it should be your focus. Now, a preacher once said, he said, it will be unfortunate to see a Christian go hungry or suffer in poverty. Initially I didn't understand the whole thing. Now later I went back to him and asked him why. He said, no, because people feel that when you're a Christian you shouldn't even wear a good shirt, you shouldn't wear, you know, a good wristwatch and all that. And so it's not like that again. We're in the 21st century. Things are growing. So they singing or participating in award schemes and other things shouldn't divert their attention from what they do, and that is winning souls for Christ. And I don't think it's affecting them. It's affecting them.
I have not seen some of them.
But people say it every time. Precious, do you think it's affecting?
No, I don't think it's affecting.
Why?
Because
that's what people say. People release, for instance, last year, people said Nasi released the Fatah timely to get a BGMA nomination. You know, that was the news that went around, and he had it at a point in time. So do you think that because of award schemes, now people release songs and, you know, at timely intervals so that they can get nominations for the next award and probably capitalize on that?
I actually believe a lot goes into releasing a gospel song. One, the production has to be solid. It goes through an inspirational moment. You would have to pray about it, the lyrics, who to record with, a lot of stuff. So we, on the gospel end, actually releasing songs late, I think it's not because of the awards or something. I think it's so we get something that is quality, great production and everything. And again, I believe that we as gospel musicians don't just release songs. They don't release songs for awards. That's what I believe.
Okay. That's your
and
belief.
I'm saying, yeah, exactly.
But that's what people say.
One, and I'm saying we are actually talking about gospel awards like now, and we've had like 2 gospel awards that has just run for just a year. So 1 year is not enough to actually say that they are actually releasing songs for gospel awards. Okay. Exactly. So let's actually wait and stand the test of time.
Stand the test of time.
Yes, please.
Okay, in fact, I'm going to come to you on that same question, but someone says, sorry, my listeners, they are for you. Hi, even Jesus Christ, Judas manipulated the system. It's a human institution. I just missed Frankie 5. This is from Joseph. Joseph, thank you very much. And someone to say, Bra okay on Facebook says, our gospel music industry there. The WhatsApp line is 050-143-143-2820. 050-143-2820. I've told you to save that line. That's the GNTV official WhatsApp and call-in line. So I'm going to open the phone lines in the next 2 minutes. But I'm going to go to Frankie 5 for that. Frankie 5. Do you think that is shifted, like you are saying, when the BGMA called you the next year, you increase the price? Don't you think that the awards is shifting you off your focus of winning souls for Christ? This time, talk like an artist manager.
Okay, let me talk like an artist manager. Yeah. Any artist, gospel artist, who will let award scheme sway him or her from the main gospel business is unserious. Take it from me. It's not a serious artist, and it's not ready for this gospel business. Yes, any artist who will sit for awards to sway their motive, to sway their
But
direction,
Frankie, you were here.
it's unserious.
You were here in Ghana when the nominations for VGMA came, and people were walking from church to church, radio
Campaigning
station to
for
radio.
votes.
Gospel artists, not
Yes.
secular artists.
Yes.
So why do you say that?
And that's why I'm saying that if you wait for this thing to hit you, to divert your main focus, then you are not serious. So if you not concentrate on your main call and you want to move from torture to torture, that's your own business. I said, if you wait for this thing to sway your attention from your main business as a gospel minister, then you are unserious. You're not ready for this job.
But a lot of them do. I don't want to mention it. But for instance, after the VGMAs, when
Yes.
you were campaigning, after the VGMAs, do you hear all of them went down? It's just quite recently that some of them started releasing again.
Good.
To meet probably the next VGMA or the next national gospel.
So some of the things that the award will tell you to do is to canvass for votes. It's not a sin to canvass for vote, but the extreme. You see, God is a very beautiful God.
So
He says we should not be too extreme in the things that we do.
How do you define the extreme?
You cannot be extreme to the extent of going to manipulate this young man to give you the award, but be decorous. Do everything that is right in the sight of God and in the sight of man, and gain that award.
I'm going to come to you. The phone line is 05014322820. I don't know, Frankie. I have someone already because I want to know how far we should go, because they say we should look for votes. So if I go to church, I'm going to look for votes. Okay. Good evening. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah.
Good evening, boss. Your name?
Good evening. I'm Michael Kofi-Odro from Koforidua.
Go ahead, Michael. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Michael Kofi-Odro from Koforidua.
Michael, reduce the volume of your TV and go ahead.
Yeah. Please, I'm Michael Kofi-Odro from Koforidua.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I want to talk a little about my uncle, Frankie Fife, and I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud to see him on the telly now, and I want to be his role model, and then I really appreciate his hard work that he's doing.
Hey, Frankie, okay, you mentioned his social media handle, so you go there, you chat him and everything. Yeah, that's what's up there.
Okay,
thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you. Yeah. Love you, Frankie Fife.
Frankie, you missed out. Someone calls you just to say, give me shout out on the road. Okay, so the number is 05014322820. Please, I'm talking about the impact of Gospel Awards. If you want to shout out them, no problem. And they'll give their Facebook handles and their other social media handles, so you can chat with them later on the show. Oh, no, me, I don't say be big man already. You know? I don't say. Yes. Good evening. Good evening, your name? Good evening, your name and where you are calling from, please?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, boss. Go ahead.
My name is Senki.
Yes, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah. As concerning the awards.
Yes.
Yes. Whenever there is award in a human institution. My name is Senki. I'm calling from New Boy Town.
Okay. Entry, reduce the volume of your TV and go ahead.
Okay. As I was saying, when there is an award in any human institution,
yes,
everybody works hard towards the award so he or she can win some.
That's true.
So they look. My volume is off. Yeah, my volume is off. So everybody works towards the award, their criteria, what the awardees want, what the voters also want to hear and see, and they work towards it. So if you bring award into the gospel fraternity, then it means you are going to turn the whole gospel into another, as we say, ball game.
So entry.
All the gospel artists, yes, sir.
So should we mean the gospel? We should stop the gospel awards. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, the gospel awards will stop. No, you don't do gospel to receive award.
Okay.
You are doing it for God, so you should expect God to award you.
Yeah, I'll come to you, event organizers. I'll come to you. Thank you very much. I've closed the phone lines. Let me take their view on this. Okay,
Frankie. Romans chapter 2, verse 5 and
Actually, they are quoting Bible for you.
Romans chapter 2,
Take your
verse
Bible.
5 and 6.
Yes, thank you.
This is God. He says, but after thy hardness and impenitent heart treasures, up thyself wrath against the day of wrath and revelation of the righteous judgment of God, who will render to every man according to his deeds. Now, let me come to Matthew. Matthew chapter 5, Matthew chapter 16, verse 27. Matthew chapter 16, verse 20. Just an answer to the young man that said that awards are not for gospel people. Matthew chapter 16, verse 27. And come here with me. 16, verse 27. What's there? He says, for the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels. And then he shall reward every man. Underline the word. He shall reward every man according to his works. Even in Yankopon or Tesronupono or the award they. So if we sit on this, hold on, let me finish. If you sit under this sun, this hot sun, and work hard, and we cannot celebrate ourselves here on earth, who do you want to celebrate you? We are trophies. Do you know that we sitting here are trophies to God? When Jesus comes, we are the saved on earth are going to be the trophies that Christ is going to present to his Father for the hard work he came to do on this earth to die to save us. We are trophies. So if you don't know, it is biblical. So those of us who say that awards are carnal, they are worldly, and they are all that, please put a stop to it. I mean, this is complete.
Disagree.
Please, it is Christian. It is we have to celebrate ourselves, else no one will. Because we are trophies already, waiting to be presented to God.
Perfect.
So what are you waiting for?
Someone says, I would like to congratulate Peter Kwabena Sergio for making National Gospel Music Awards come to stay. Tune in later, so only say the gospel artist should focus on winning souls and not awards. He says he's the sports prophet. Okay, so you also so what do you think? The guy says that Christian, we should stop gospel awards.
I strongly disagree too, and I'm actually standing on Proverbs chapter 3 verse 27. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 27, yes. And it says, "Do not withhold good from those whom it is due, when it is in your power to do. Do not withhold good, do not withhold honor from those to whom it is due, when it is in your power to do so." So we have come to a realization that we can actually bring up something that will meet the needs of those who are due that honor. So we are saying we have the strength to help them and honor them. So we are doing this because it is strictly biblical. Very biblical.
Senor, what do you say to the caller? Entry.
I think people are still living in Stone Age.
Exactly.
People are living in Stone Age because if you don't want people to bring up schemes, then go back to those days where we tie Danta, and then we can continue from there. Because you see, I am not sounding harsh, but then common sense, okay, should tell us that human beings are to be rewarded. Now, if the caller works in an office and his promotion time comes and they fail to give him because he's a Christian, what would he say? You say people are racist there.
Then let's take out the voting system and give it up based on the criteria form.
It is not all about the voting system.
What's the percentage of voting to the public?
80%.
80%.
Yes.
So let's take it out because
and that's why I'm saying that it's not about voting. If I tell you the number of votes that came in last year, you'll be surprised. It's not just about the voting. People deserve honor. And that is why people vie for presidency and all that. When it's time for people to be nominated for ministerial appointments, you get to know how people lobby.
Even the churches.
Even in churches.
When I go for Jeddah,
even in churches.
Yes.
I was in a church. Let me finish. I was in a church and one keyboardist was rushing to go and play, and then the senior guy came in and was like, Charlie. In the church.
Yes,
and I was like, wow. People didn't observe it. Yes. But I was looking at what are they really doing?
That's true.
So the guy got furious, passed through the back door and then he left. And then the senior guy sat down, to
That's
play.
That's all. No, in my church, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist.
Yeah.
Today I went to church, and in church today, it was announced that the church, the calendar of the church is coming to an end, and we need to elect new leaders. In my church, leaders are elected. In my church,
Almost every church.
yeah. So it was time. So they will let people to go and nominate the people who they feel that should be leaders to lead us for the next. How do you call that? And they will add, it must be people with good standing.
Yes.
They will add us in good standing.
That
How do you
includes
call
number of
that?
Yes, this, that.
How do you call that? Including the elders. That's where they will elect elders, deacons, communication directors, why, church clerk. If you are not worthy in the church, you will not be rewarded to be given that post. And that's a reward there, right there in your face.
I'm happy he's made. I'm happy he made
So
reference
we're
to
going to
one.
close soon. So you'll find out.
You know, last year, an Adventist church in Kumasi, somebody picked up a form for, I think, an up and coming artist, and then the guy later called and said, in my church, we are not interested in these awards, and I was like, wow. So I'm so happy that an Adventist has actually, nailed it.
You see, some of people are still laid back, and you see, I don't blame. It's just not in the Adventist church. It trickles in almost every church. There are people who are extreme. Charlie, we are too hard on ourselves sometimes. God is a beautiful God. Let's do things in a beautiful way and let Christ come take us and present us to His Father, because we are trophies ourselves. Let's celebrate ourselves whilst we live here.
So now we agree. We agree. There are people who say there shouldn't be Christian awards, but my panel members very, very knowledgeable. They are chief organizers of award schemes. In fact, they did their research before they started these award schemes. Biblically, they've told you we have to honor ourselves, and they've even given you history in the church. What happens in the church? And I know some churches, general overseer, they vote. Yes. And they've told you why they do all that. And I think it's a very good initiative. It will not take us off our track. I think that it's good to pat people at the back and say, you're doing well, go ahead and do it. So final comments. I'm going to take final comments from you. Then you give your social media handles. The show is for Frankie. I think I have to make you host it one of these days.
I beg.
I have to make you host it. So you'll be the last to sign out.
No problem.
Okay, so Sergio, final comments. When is the nominee, the forms are out already?
Yeah, the forms are out already, and they are filing now. It ends on the 19th of this month, a few days more. Okay. And then the list will come up on the 2nd.
So the next day, the next day, the 3rd, if you are not in Accra, I'll call you. We will debate. Like our last day, we debated on radio.
So it comes up on the 2nd, and then right on the 3rd, I'll be on your show.
Yes,
and
we'll talk about it.
On the 22nd, the voting actually itself
22nd of November
ends on the 14th of December.
Okay.
And so the awards itself is slated for 22nd of December.
That's a Friday.
That's a Saturday.
22nd is a Saturday. Okay. Perfect.
It's a Saturday.
Right.
Yes. So I mean, we are preparing for it. I believe last year we saw the challenges because we saw it from a different perspective. We thought it was a gospel event, and consultations we did, and people were given different ideas even before the event. And finally, when they came for the event, it was like, no, this one was not there, and blah blah. So this year we given very good red carpet. At least I've learned something from
I'll time it up.
Somebody who it's from the other side. That's from the Africa Gospel. Prince McKay.
Yeah,
I've learned.
There's a lot of okay, perfect.
Huge stuff.
So his Facebook handle is Peter Sergio. Peter Kwabena Sergio. Yes. So your final comments. I have like 2 minutes to go. Yes.
Okay, we'd like to thank everyone who has actually supported Kingdom and since its inception. Okay. We would also like to announce that we've started preparations for Kingdom and 19. We'll start nominations in February next year. Main event is in March. Okay. So we are actually looking for it.
Okay. So you follow him at Precious on Facebook too. Yes.
Finally, if you're a gospel artist and you've done this business for long, you've not been honored before, you've not been nominated before, there's something wrong. Check it. Secondly, please do not forget to tune in to Hit 103.9 FM every Sunday from 6 to 8 p.m. I'll be sitting large and in charge.
And on Facebook, you can find it from Kwabdo Wusu. I'll come your way next week, 5:30 to 7 p.m. This is the CEO show. We'll meet next week.
You don't know me,